Update 2. Am I wrong for telling my niece that her brother will always be more important to me than she is and that I won't go above and beyond for her like I did for him, only offering the typical support an aunt would? About a week after the post, I decided to talk to Emily. We arranged to meet at my home, and I asked everyone not to be there because I wanted to have a private conversation with her. When she arrived, she didn't really want to look at me, so I asked if I could give her a hug. She nodded, and the moment I hugged her, she started crying. She apologized for how she had acted, but I reassured her that she didn't need to say sorry. I asked her again about how her parents treat her because I wanted to understand more about what's been happening. She told me that her dad treats her well and tries to spend time with her, but he's busy since he works 2 jobs. My sister is home more often, but she usually keeps to herself and doesn't like to be bothered. I asked if she feels neglected, and she said no, but they don't spend much time together as a family because her parents argue a lot, especially about money. She admitted that sometimes her mom makes her feel like an obligation, but she knows they both love her. I then asked her about the money my mom took from the retirement fund, and she said that she and my sister were going car shopping soon. I also brought up the fact that she referred to Luke as her brother and asked if she truly feels that way about him. She explained that she sees him more like a cousin and thought that calling him her brother would make me feel more obligated to help her. She clarified that, even though they are biologically siblings, they've always been cousins and always will be. I then asked if she knew how I ended up adopting Luke, and she said she did. Her dad had explained the situation, telling her the blunt and complete truth, while my sister had sugarcoated it. Luke only sees her as a cousin as well. To Luke, his only sibling is Justin. I then talked to her about seeing a therapist, which we would pay for. My husband agreed. She said she would think about it. I also suggested that we could have a fun day out together on Saturdays, and she got excited about the idea. That weekend, we went on our first outing. We went to a restaurant she had been wanting to try, and we had a great time. Afterwards, I took her to a bookstore since she loves to read, and I bought her a few books she had been wanting. However, when Emily and I were supposed to have our second weekend out, I had to cancel because Justin ended up in the hospital. During football practice, he started wheezing a little and used his inhaler, but he didn't wait long enough. He was then tackled, which knocked the wind out of him and triggered a bad asthma attack. This happened on a Friday, and Justin stayed in the hospital until Sunday. Emily and I were supposed to go out that Saturday, so that morning I called her to cancel. Before I could explain why, she started yelling at me, accusing me of never caring about her, and then hung up. I tried calling her back, but it went straight to voicemail. I sent her a text saying I didn't mean to hurt her and that Justin was in the hospital, and we could reschedule our day for the next weekend. I never heard back from her and gave up trying to reach her after a few days. 2 days ago, my family and I were out for a family night when my neighbors called, saying they had contacted the police because someone was vandalizing one of our cars. When we got home, the cops were there, and it was Justin's car that had been vandalized. There were scratches, small dents, and paint on the car, along with 2 broken windows. My husband and I checked our security footage, and it clearly showed Emily and someone else vandalizing the car. My husband gave a copy of the video to the police, and Emily and her friend were arrested the next morning. My sister and mom came to my house, screaming that I was ruining my niece's life and that if I loved her, I would drop the charges. My husband is adamant that we don't drop the charges, and both Justin and Luke agree with him. Many people have asked about Luke's perspective on all of this, so I decided to talk to him. He said he's over everything and thinks it's best to cut contact with everyone, including Emily, because she's just like her mom. So, we are cutting contact with everyone except for my dad.